Good morning, everybody. Today, after a very long time, I am starting another lesson of chemistry, and today we will basically do a introduction of a chapter uh, that is basically introduction to chemistry. Now, what we learn in chemistry? Basically, basically in chemistry, we learn composition of matter, properties of matter, and interaction of matter. Now, what is basically matter? Now, matter is anything that have mass, that occupies space, and that can be felt by our senses. Senses means uh, we can we can basically feel matter by seeing, by touching, by smelling, by hearing, or by tasting. Now, this is chemistry. Now, this is the three branch of chemistry. Number one is the physical chemistry, number two is the inorganic chemistry, and number three is the organic chemistry. Now, in physical chemistry, what we learn is basically the interaction of the physical properties uh, with chemical composition and transformation. Now, transformation means the different states of matter, basically. Now, in inorganic chemistry, we learn about elements and compounds. We learn about their physical property, their chemical property. We also learn about metals and non-metals. That is within elements. And in organic chemistry, now what is basically organic chemistry? Organic chemistry is basically the study of hydrocarbons. Now, the word itself tells us now hydrocarbon means compounds having both hydrogen and carbon. Now, other than hydrocarbons, they may contain nitrogen, they may contain oxygen. So, basically, the study of hydrocarbons, that means compounds having carbon and hydrogen as one of the two main elements. That is basically the study of organic chemistry. Now, this is slide number one. Now, if I move to slide number two, now here we will learn about the important application of chemistry. Now, important application means chemistry is very much in our day-to-day life. Now, for example, the food we eat, the medicine we take, the cloth that we wear, the transport, communication, recreation, uh, in each and every aspects of our life, we can find chemistry. Now, for example, the pencil that I'm using right now, the rubber, the ink, then shampoo that we use, deodorants, cosmetics, perfume, toothpaste that we use just um, when we get up early in the morning. So all these are basically these are the blessings of chemistry. Now the cloth that we wear, then in case of increased crop production, we use pesticide, we use fertilizer. That is also chemistry. Then in case of road and buildings, we use cement, we use paints, we use glass. That's also chemistry. In recreation, we play cricket, the ball, the bat, we play badminton, the racket. All are basically chemistry. Now, here, first, the point is food. The first point is food. Okay. Now, the population of our world is increasing at a very fast rate, and for that we need more food. Now, we have a limited supply of land, but we need more food for the vast population. So, for that, what we require is fertilizer. Fertilizer, that is also chemistry. Okay. Now, what is basically fertilizer? Now, what the fertilizers do? They basically increase the yield of the crop and the fruits. Now, these are some common examples of fertilizer. One is urea. Then we have the phosphatic fertilizer. That means fertilizers having phosphates. Now, here I have written two examples. One is DAP, that is diammonium phosphate. Another one is MAP, that is monoammonium phosphate. Now, we have ammonium nitrate. That's also a fertilizer. Now, we have liquid fertilizer like aqueous solution of ammonia. Now, what is basically aqueous solution? Aqueous means anything which is soluble in water. That is basically aqueous. Okay. Now the next point is pesticides. What are basically pesticides? Now pesticides, they basically kill pests. Okay. Uh, now these are the three basic pesticides. We have insecticides, used to kill insects which are responsible to destroy crops. Now examples: DDT, that is diphenyl trichloroethane. We have BHC, that is benzene hexachloride. Now we have the fungicide, now used to destroy the fungi which destroy the crops. Now what are basically fungus? Fungus, they can be microorganism, they can be macroorganism. Now for example, mushroom. In case of microorganism, I can give you two example. One is yeast, another one is mold. Now, so this is all about fungicide. Now these are the two common examples. One is Kaptan and another one is Mancozeb. These are the two fungicides. There are many. I just wrote two here insecticides, two fungicides, and two here herbicide. Now herbicide is basically it's a group of pesticide which basically kill the weeds. Now example, triazines and broadleaf. Triazines and broadleaf. Now we are moving to the slide number 3. Now in slide number 3, the same food we are continuing, and now the point that we will discuss is food preservative. Now what they do, they basically prevent the growth of microorganisms which are responsible for the spoilage and rancidity. Now what is basically rancidity? I think you have heard about rancid butter. The color of the butter changes, a smell comes out from the butter. It's basically when the butter gets spoiled, then the color and the smell basically changes. That's basically rancidity. Something a bad smell is normally comes out from that particular substance. Now these are some food preservatives I have written. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have made 5 columns. Number 1 is sorbic acid, which is used in the preservation of cheese, wine, and baked goods. Now we have benzoic acid or sodium benzoate, used in the preservation of jams, juices, pickles, then carbonated drinks. That means the cold drinks normally. Now we have SO2. SO2 means sulfur dioxide. Now here we have sulfites. Now that is used for the preservation of food, fruits. And here we have sodium nitrate or sodium nitrite, used to preserve the meat products, and we have sulfur compounds used to preserve the beverages, then wine. Now here, one thing I should make you clear. Now what is the sulfites? Now nitrates or nitrite. Now these are basically radicals. Now a very simple, it's not the actual definition. I'm just giving a very simple definition of a radical. Now radical basically a group of atoms. They behave as a single unit. They behave as a single unit in a particular compound. Now sulfite. Now sulfite, for example, if I write, now sulfite is basically SO3. I think you can see here. I wrote in pencil. Now sulfite is basically SO3. Now it's a radical, and nitrate is basically NO3. It's a radical. Now nitrite is NO2. That's also a radical. Now we will learn about all these radicals in higher classes. We will learn. So the next is food processing. Okay, food processing. Now it is basically how the raw food ingredients, they can be changed into marketable food products that can be easily prepared and served. Now these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 ways through which we can process our food. Now I am just telling you the names. We will tell all about these processes in our later videos. Now number 1 is refrigeration and freezing. Number 2 is canning, double N. Number 3 is dehydration. Number 4 is fridge drying. Number 4 is pickling. Number 5 is pasteurization. and number 6 is fermentation. Now, in some other video, I will deal with all these definitions. Now, what do you mean by refrigeration or freezing? What do you mean by canning, and so on? Now, these are basically the advantage and disadvantage of what? Of food preservation. Advantage number one. Number one is we can get food. We can get the food materials out of season. Then number two is the storage period increases. Number three is it prevents the spoilage of the foodstuff. And number four is availability of food at distant places. Now here are the three disadvantages. Number one, often we can lose the nutrients and the weight. Now here I have written one example in case of polished rice that we normally take in our day-to-day life. Now what happens now if I intake polished rice? Now there is a loss of iron and vitamin B in polished rice. And number three is the original taste sometimes changes to a very large extent. Now these are basically the disadvantages, three disadvantage and four advantage of what? Of food processing. Now we are moving to slide number 4. Now here cosmetics. Now that's also chemistry. Now what is basically cosmetics? Used to enhance or change the appearance or fragrance of the body. Now here I have written some common cosmetics, for example, lipsticks, skin cleanser, perfume, here talcum powder, skin lotion, mascara, eyeshadow, shampoo, hair styling products. Now these are basically the ingredients that are basically present in cosmetics. Now we have water, titanium dioxide, oxide of zinc and iron. Now oxides of zinc and iron means zinc with oxygen, iron with oxygen, like that. We have emulsifier and we have preservative in a cosmetic. Now the function of water is basically it's a solvent. Solvent, water is a universal solvent. Now titanium dioxide, its function is the white coloration to colored ingredients. Now this titanium dioxide basically it gives white coloration to colored ingredient. And number 2 point is it is a mild sun protector. Then zinc oxide, iron oxide, what are their function? They provide variation in color. For example, zinc oxide gives anti-inflammatory property to the cosmetics. Now we have emulsifier present in cosmetics that basically give texture to the cream and the lotion, and preservatives that improve the shelf life and inhibit the growth of the microorganisms, so that microorganisms can't grow. That's basically inhibition. Okay, now we are moving to the next slide, the last one of today's lesson. Now basically this is a basic introduction to chemistry. Now what I have done is I have divided the entire lesson in three parts. Now today I am dealing with part number 1, and this part number 1 contains 5 slides, and this is the last one. Now clothing, that's also chemistry. Now for example, terylene. Terylene is basically a combination of polyester and cotton. Now what is basically polyester? Now polyester is basically a synthetic fiber. It's a synthetic fiber. It's a petroleum derivative. It's a petroleum derivative, that means derived. Basically, it's derived from coal, air, water, and petroleum. And now these are the now terylene. Now what we do with terylene? We can make fabric. We can make carpet, then raincoats, ropes, and nets. So this is all about terylene. Now we have rayon. Rayon is basically wool along with cellulose fiber, for example, carpet, and cotton along with cellulose fiber, that is basically bed sheet. Now, what is basically cellulose fiber? Now, cellulose fiber, we basically get cellulose fiber from the bark, from the leaves of the plants. So that's basically cellulose fiber. And the last one is the nylon. That is also an artificial synthetic fiber, and we can use nylon to make fabric, ropes, hooks, and brushes. Now nylon is also a petroleum derivative. Now these are the advantage of this. Basically these are the 4 advantage of these terylene, rayon, or nylon over cloths that are made from cotton. Now they are basically more durable, they are basically attractive, they are comfortable, and they are economical. So this is all about today's lesson. Okay, so if you like today's lesson, to give a like, share with your friends, so that I can come up with more and more lessons. Okay.